Hello, everybody. Happy 4th of July. I'm Tyler Ellison, and I actually want to talk to you guys about something new I've been doing today. Now, for a while, I was having rather intense digestive problems. This was, of course, when I was going through my schooling about 3 months ago. I was taking things like chemistry and other classes that were definitely very demanding. And simultaneously, I was also working a part time job that was about 24 hours a week. So, full time school and full time work or part time work, when put together, can lead to situations where you can feel overwhelmed. And as a result, I noticed, or as another aspect to that situation, I noticed I was having like super intense digestion issues. Like not great like stools or poops, and just problems like that. And of course, bloating, no energy, oversleeping, things like that. My whole body was essentially out of whack. And while most of this can be definitely attributed to stress, I think that there is a strong connection, and I think science also backs this up too, that there's a strong connection between the digestive system and the mind. Now, to back this up, I was reading a Harvard study rather, where there's a big difference between doing and reading one. But yeah, I was reading one today actually, where they were talking about how there is like a stream of communication that happens and goes between the mind and the stomach. And one of their points was that even just thinking about food, even really desiring or having an intense passion for eating something, will actually, when you cultivate that in your mind, will actually begin to cultivate that in your stomach. Your stomach will start producing the fluids, and it can even start creating the sensation of hunger and all of the pre-digestive and assimilation functions that the stomach goes through when it eats. It'll start prepping itself just by you thinking about that. And at the same time, there's also phrases like that situation made me sick to my stomach, or I have butterflies in my stomach. It's also referring to the fact that when these things happen in our mind, even if it's not food related, like we're going through periods of stress or nervousness or etc., that communication is still happening, and it will eventually reach the stomach. And that's why these emotional factors of the mind will actually take place in the gut. But what they wanted to really emphasize was this: it's not a one-way street where your mind thinks something and your stomach, as a result, feels the effects of it. What actually happens too is it's a two-way street where if your digestive system isn't functioning and you're at the same time not giving it the proper foods for digestive health, when it's out of whack, it can very much influence the mind. Digestive health can be the other side of the coin for situations like depression, anxiety, stress, nervousness, insomnia. All these different things have a big part in if the digestive system is functioning at its best. But what I realized was, doing more research, it doesn't stop there. When the digestive system is completely out of whack, what ends up happening is the immune system gets thrown out of whack as well. Now, the connection between the immune system and the digestive system is not as well studied as the mind and stomach connection. But what can be found is this: majority of the immune system is composed of the digestive system. I mean, the immune system in and of itself is a variety of different systems, different cells that are all interconnected. When they work together, produce immunity. That's essentially how this works. But what researchers have found out is that the digestive system and its ability to function as a strong unit is primarily what helps to fuel the immune system. It's one of the key things that really helps this that system and that interconnectedness of different systems function fully. So, end of the story here is that if your digestive system's weak, you're more prone to stress, and your mind can be all over the place, scattered. And if you're more prone to stress and your mind is all over the place and scattered, and your digestive system is weak, your immune system will be weak as well. And these things all work together. So what I've found and what I've deducted is one of the most simple things to do to help, one, boost your immunity, but two, also help calm your mind and bring your mind to a state of permanent ease, is taking care of your digestive system. And there's a variety of different ways to do that. There's certain foods out there, certain beverages out there that the digestive system loves, that it absolutely thrives upon. And the organisms, which keep in mind, a lot of your bacteria is mainly your digestive system's bacteria. I mean, most of the time we're 90% bacteria and living things. Most our bodies literally just created from this, and most of them, especially the very significant ones, are found in your gut. So there are certain foods out there that you can consume that will create a healthy environment for these bacteria to flourish, but also too, it can these certain foods out there can actually promote the growth of these things through helping that environment, but can also supplement the environment with new bacteria that is good for your system. So there are a few things out there that I'll touch upon. One is apple cider vinegar. Taking shots of this actually has been shown to help increase digestion, help ease digestion pain, discomfort, and overall it strengthens the digestive system. You want to consume this raw and unpasteurized, which if you ever buy apple cider vinegar, it will be labeled as such. Another great one is aloe vera. That is, it comes from the aloe vera plant, and people will actually take the juice, extract it, or make it into a drink. And it is like tremendous for inflammation of the gastrointestinal system. But on top of this too, it also helps promote the growth of new bacteria and keeps that system regular and healthy. It also helps with constipation, irritable bowel syndrome, all these different forms of inflammation that are very uncomfortable for the digestive tract. Fermented foods are especially good. I'm talking about things like kimchi here, kombucha, different fermented products out there that, because they're fermented, they have bacteria strains within them that not only help to ease inflammation and strengthen your digestive system, but they will resupply it with good bacteria. So I, just for personal reasons, have not been drinking kombucha, as there can be, especially if it's store-bought, if you're not making your own, there can be a high alcohol content in it. And that's because the kombucha oftentimes will sit on the shelf and it continues to ferment, which means that the bacteria are eating the sugar, which in turn is producing alcohol. So I've stayed away from kombucha. And what I've decided to do actually to help increase my digestive strength, especially for an upcoming trip to South America I have coming up, where the stronger digestive strength I have, the healthier I'll be down there. I've been making my own kefir. Now, I'm not sure if any of you have heard of kefir before, but the idea of kefir is this. It's taking cultured yeast and lactic acid bacteria and putting it in milk. And when these bacteria are put in milk for an extended period of time, anywhere from 24 to 36 hours, they'll start to ferment the lactose in the milk, which is the milk's sugar. They'll ferment that, and from there, they will actually thrive in there and colonize in the milk. And what happens here is you're creating a super drink with your own naturally cultured bacteria that, when consumed, do a variety of different things, but one of the things they do is they relieve inflammation of the digestive system, but they also strengthen it with over 30 different microorganisms. So that comes just from drinking kefir. Typically, people in America will drink, for digestive health, will consume yogurt. And yogurt's great. I'm not dissing yogurt at all. But with kefir, it's dramatically stronger than yogurt in like every sense of the word. And for people that are lactose intolerant, kefir is 100% safe to consume. And that's because these bacteria are eating up the lactose. So there's no lactose in it whatsoever. It's for people that have trouble with dairy, this is an extremely safe and comfortable dairy beverage that you can consume. And it's extremely easy to make on your own. So I'll actually show you. I have my kefir here with me. So this is the kefir. I have about half a quart of raw cow's milk, and in this little pouch right here, I have kefir grains. Now you can see, if you look at the bottom of the pouch, the weight that's in there being reflected off the light. Let's see, get a side view. So that, as you can see, it's very filled. That is literally the cultured yeasts and lactic acid bacteria that has grown. It literally, when I first got those things, they were maybe the size of that. They were about that big when I first bought those cultured grains. Now, I mean, these things are roughly the size of like my like fingers right here, like that portion of my fingers. They've grown huge. And what happens is as they grow, you're able to put them in bigger quantities of milk and you're able to yield more kefir. And it's fantastic. It's one, very, very delicious. And as soon as you drink it, I can literally feel, one, I can feel it in my gut. I can feel the kefir working in my digestive system. But on top of that, too, I can actually feel my mind relaxing. It's uncanny because it happens every time. And it's so immediate, too. It almost it feels like your mind's like calming down. And it definitely sets a tone for the rest of the day. I would highly recommend this drink to anybody. It's easy to make. I would say in total, making kefir has cost me $7 because I had to buy the grains. And I mean, after that, you just let them sit in about a cup of milk for the first week or so. Just once a day, every 24 hours, you put them in a cup of milk. Then after that 24-hour period's up, you put them in a new cup of milk. And each time you put them in a new cup of milk, you have a cup of kefir to drink. So the grains are continuously reusable, and they keep just making more and more. And as they get bigger, you're able to put them in larger quantities of milk. So right now I have them in about half a quart. In about, I would say, a week, I'm going to have them in about half a gallon of milk. Now, people say with kefir to use, use milks you're okay with. I particularly use raw cow's milk. And the reason I use the raw milk is because it in and of itself is a probiotic supplement, realistically. Raw milk has enzymes and good bacteria in it that help to flourish your gut and help to strengthen the gut and deliver all of these nutrients to you in a way that's much more abundant than pasteurized milk, which, as you know, pasteurization is where they hit the milk at very high temperatures of heat. And that heat actually kills the bacteria and it destroys the enzymes. So people typically say, pasteurized milk is dead. Raw milk is still alive. It has all these things. It's straight from the udder. So I take the raw milk and I ferment it with the kefir grains. And my own logic behind this is that I'm essentially creating an ultra probiotic drink. I am taking one universe of good bacteria that just comes from a cow and a whole nother universe of good bacteria that comes from these lactic acid bacteriums and the yeasts, putting them together, and as a result, they're both working together and interacting, and they're both eating up they're both working together and eating up the lactose. And what I think is interesting is with raw milk, it does not sour, it does not go bad at all. What happens with raw milk is the bacteria in the raw milk do the same thing that the kefir bacteria do. They actually start to eat up the lactose. And that's why you can drink raw milk past the expiration date. It doesn't ever go bad. It just starts to ferment itself. So I put these two things together, hoping they're working together. I can't assure that they are. They may be competing for for all the lactose. They're both trying to get the source at once. That might be happening. But at the same time, too, I am guaranteed by doing that to be consuming significantly larger amounts of good bacteria and cultures that help keep this digestive system going, this mind going, and this body healthy and immune. So that is my story about fermenting your own kefir and why doing so can help heal your body in a variety of different amazing ways. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this YouTube video. I know I've had a fun time making it. I'm Tyler Ellison, and I will see all of you soon. Happy 4th of July, everyone.